so happy, like the way she is right now, and like she looks younger than her actual age. Like let's say she's 60, she looks 20 years younger.
Oh, that's good.
She understands. So like, what would you do if you were the daughter in this situation?
Darling, first of all, I love it when older people find love. Like, as much as I love it for young people, there's a different wholesomeness that fills my heart when I see older people.
Because it's like they've gone through life,
gone through so
and they're
much.
now here.
Do you get? I just love it for them. And listen, my mother at that age finds somebody who is ready to do life with her. Listen,
go mommy.
Do you get? Like, I'm a very strong advocate of that's fine. Whatever it comes for you in life, take it and enjoy it. You find love at a younger age, beautiful for you. If it comes at an older age, who is putting a timeline on it? That woman has found somebody who would love her at that time. I'm going to allow her to enjoy the rest of her life.
So how would you deal with the family members back home and your father?
I have no business with family members back home. Now, in this context, they are my parents, right? My father. At some point in life, you have to be able to take full responsibility for your actions. Love to my dad. He's a better person right now. Maybe he regrets whatever that he's done, but it just happened. Nemesis will catch up with you. You didn't make the right decisions then. It's catching up with you right now. You have to take responsibility for it. There are consequences
you're
for actions.
Forgiven, but there are consequences for actions.
Now, long and short, will get you help. My mother is in a better place right now. She's done. The issue was, it was not even like she left you. For a period of time, she stayed with you to take care of you. Now is the time for her to enjoy herself and move on. She's done her best. Let's get you help.
Someone mentioned the fact that like bride price, they are married. It's not as if they are divorced yet.
Let's
marriage is still there, doors part.
Let's speed up the divorce process for my mother. In the long run, I can't make a decision for them. They are two grown people. Now I sit my mother down, right, and let us see what exactly
involved,
what the situation. What if that woman chooses? If she chooses to stay with my dad, that's fine.
But you're not gonna be the one to say, "Mom, go back."
No, I'm seeing her enjoy her life, and I'm ready for her to do that. That's me. That's me. If she chooses to stay with your Oyinbo man, by all means, mommy, I love it for you.
This lady's even calling you Oyinbo daddy already.
Do you get? Why are we? I don't understand why we are always. It really hurts me, especially with this. I dare to say, I'm really sorry with this dogmatic and unprogressive mindset that we have in this part of and you expect that for the sake, and it annoys when and they will always say till death was part of, because there are children in the picture. People are allowed to live their lives. People are allowed. I don't care where the law finds
all
them.
The children are all grown up. So what do you mean?
Thank you.
You just want me to live out the rest of my life taking care of a man that has gout disease and has 3 children outside of my marriage and was having side pieces up and down.
Do you get?
No, definitely
Please, not. Allow her.
Let's let that conversation rest anyway, because it's riling me up. It's riling me up.
Allow her.
But okay, yeah. Thank you so much for joining me on the Cupid's Connect. Now it's Soul Sisters. Sisters, we apologize for taking into your time. Okay, well, we're here right now, and last week we were talking about first daughters, right? We're talking about the struggles first daughters face, and what the society is like to them, and how they have to struggle, the expectations that they have, that people have from them, from their parents, from the siblings, all of that, and how very, very, like, it's like there's so much on my shoulder. I'm not living my life. I'm living my life for other people, even as a child, even growing up into teens, into youth, into now that I'm an adult. Everybody's calling Ada, everybody's calling Big Sis, everybody's calling this. I need this, we need this, we're shaking cut this, with this one, all of that. So you're not even able to live out your life. You're constantly just living for other people. Now, we've talked about all of that, and then now
we want to talk about ways we can support
the first daughters.
Yes, we decided okay, fine, we focused on the struggles they go through. Let's shed light, let's put the spotlight on how the society, family, partners, loved ones, everybody around, the society at large can just really support
the first daughters. And that's what we'll be concentrating today on Soul Sisters. So scoot closer. If you're a first daughter, if you're any position in the family, actually, you could also hear this and then help.
Oh, absolutely. For first daughters themselves, society, younger ones, parents, everybody.
Absolutely. So come closer, okay? You're part of the sister circle. And today, I know we miss Benny. Benny's not here today. We miss Benny. But myself, that's Danielle, and Gladys, we're going to be doing this show together today. So sit close, come closer, and let's talk. It's Soul Sisters on Flow FM 92.7. This is Single Ladies by Beyonce.
This is Soul Sisters. Soul Sisters. Flow FM 92.7.
Araba Radio.
Kid, you gotta put a ring on it.
You need to put a ring on it. Don't play.
Taraji P. Henson said in an interview, and she said, "Listen, look at this hand. There's no finger there. You're not ready to put a ring on it. Please move along.
Move along. Exactly.
Move along.
Come correct or don't come at all.
That's right, my girl.
That's what we're doing.
That's right.
Now, we're streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to see what's going on in the studio right now,
Go right there.
all you need to do is go onto Facebook or onto YouTube, whatever rocks your boat, and then you can see what's going on and see the vibe, the absolute vibe in the studio
on
this
Facebook
afternoon.
at Flow FM NG. Once again, our handle on Facebook is Flow FM NG, and on YouTube is Flow FM 927 for you to be able to connect with us directly right now for the Soul Sisters live on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, so if you, exactly like I was saying, if you want to see the vibe, if you want to see the connection, I got my eyes on you. If you want to see all of that, all you need to do is go onto Facebook or YouTube, and you're going to be able to see it live and direct. Okay, now let's get back into the conversation. We're talking about first daughters, and we said we want to talk about how the society can help them. So let's take it up from your point of view.
Okay, all right then. I mentioned last week that we're going to be talking about the ways that the world can actually support first daughters in different ways. Emotional support, there's educational and career opportunities, there's family and community support, there's social and cultural shifts, and there's practical assistance.
I like that one.
Yeah, I love practical assistance. That's a major part of it.
Don't talk too much. Show me workings.
Exactly.
That kind of thing,
And there's media representation as well, which is what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
right? There's media
most
representation
definitely.
and all of that. Okay, but let's start off from emotional support, and I'm going to start with this. It's very important that we encourage open communication and create safe space for first daughters to express feelings and concerns. This actually hits very close to home. I think I mentioned a little bit of that last week, how that my elder sister and my mother had to get to a point where they needed to start having like very open communication with each other, right? Especially because at some point my elder sister had to leave home, right, away from family, and also it felt like my mom was slightly she was slightly stuck a little bit into the 16-year-old she raised, and the child that left home. You get, and then she's seen life, she's seen a lot of experiences and all like that, and even seeing how differently being a first daughter specifically can be raised. And then they had to get to a point where they needed to start having this communication. Typical, being from a black household, an African household, or a Nigerian specifically household, it's like you're just supposed to do what your parents tell you to do, and we thank them for the way they raised us. They actually, instilled very good values into us, but it doesn't always work like that, and especially nowadays it doesn't always work like that. And it's very important that we should learn to listen to our children. Yeah. So emotional support, and not just from the sides of parents. If you're a friend, you're a younger sibling, I have gotten to. I'm so grateful that I have. I'm just very thankful that I got to a point where my elder sister could rely on me and tell me about things. There's certain times when she's going through something as a first daughter, or maybe mom is not seeing from a point of view. She calls me, and then I give her the room to share.
Yeah.
Right? I give her the room to share. I can slightly relate to it. I'm not the first one, but I also have a sibling behind me. So I can also slightly relate to what it means to be like an older person. Daughter. Yes. Do you understand? And then you have responsibility. And then sometimes I don't even have the answers to it. I just let her talk. So creating an open space for communication is very, very important. Very, very, very important to them. I think it's very, very key.
It's very important. It's very key. And that's why I'm really glad that's the first thing we're putting out there. Let's need to talk about it. Like, I feel like every time something is going on and you're able to actually talk about it, it lessens that pain and that burden, to be honest. And that just brings me to actually saying reduce expectations from these people. They've had that expectation. They've had that pressure from even as children, and now that they are adults and they are grown, everybody is grown, to be honest. Imagine if your first daughter is like 28, the next one, no matter how long or how the age gap is, you're not longer a child. Do you understand? Nobody's saying they don't have responsibilities. You know that they have responsibilities,
they do have it.
But you need to reduce the expectation. Last week we were talking about how parents have a huge role to play when it comes to these things, because that person is still a child. First daughter or not, she's still a child.
Yeah.
She's still your child. So yeah, she has responsibilities as the first person you brought into the world. But come on, she's still a child and she's trying to navigate her life in the world. Imagine being a young girl in your 20s, navigating through life. You're trying to get your job done. You're trying to put your career on the path. You're having relationship issues. You're having all of these female issues that we have. When it comes to health and all of these things. And still, there's so much pressure. There's so much expectation. There's so much on your shoulder, and you don't even you're just it can be a lot.
I know.
So it will be to reduce expectations on these people. Not that they don't have responsibilities, but the expectations needs to be reduced.
Actually, very, very important. Very important. Thank you for saying that. And that will also lead me to talk about Now you give them the opportunity to be able to express themselves, and then we go further to reduce expectations on them. Then when you put all of that together, ensure that you foster self-care for them. Very, very key. Now when my sister comes to me and then she talks to me about all these things, right? You know, you and I, this actually is very close to home. You and I have this conversation. We talk about it a lot. And there's certain times where I'm like, I hear you, honey. I hear you. But can you do me a favor to put yourself first? Can you do something for yourself? You
I'm
know,
an advocate for that.
Yes. You know, we always do this. You teach me that, right? And I also teach you that, because I know, like, you are a prime example of what it means to be a first daughter and even a first child. You have both combined.
I too.
First child and first daughter. So we need to
if I do say so myself.
I know. We need to really, really foster self-care for them. Okay, now you need to teach them stress management, self-compassion, and mindfulness. When the first child comes to you, especially now, say, it's what you have to do. Suck it up.
That's exactly the statement.
It's so sad that, you know, they go to people and if we do not, in fact, I feel like you don't foster this one, it makes them recoil into their shell, and then it defeats the purpose of the first one, which is open communication. Because I come to you and I tell you, this is what I'm going through as a first daughter,
you brush me off.
And you brush me off.
You invalidate my feelings, and then I will recoil. Even without, let's even move away from the first daughter. Anytime you do that to anybody that comes to you to talk and try to express themselves, and you shut them down. I can promise you that's the last time that person wants to do that to you and would recoil. And that's not what we want. We want people to be able to express themselves so they can actually get the help that they need or that they are seeking for.
Very, very. And
now, even if you cannot even help, if you cannot help, whether it's financial or it's whatever kind of help,
that's right.
At least let them talk. So it's
allow it.
So
and while you are doing that, ensure that you're chipping out. Just like you said, even if you don't have the right answers, first that self-care. Tell, like, okay, they call you right now. I tell my sister, I'm like, okay, you know what? Next week, I need you to go on the trip by yourself. Next week, just, you know what? Sometimes my mom calls me and she's like, I've not heard from your other sister. I'm like, Mom, she's in a break. I told her to take it. She needs space, right? From family right now. They are allowed. You know, there's already so much burden of the family on the shoulders. Let them know it's okay to choose themselves per time, right? And I call my youngers and I'm like, Big Sis needs to be on a break right now. Don't call her for now. You need anything, you talk to me. I call Mom and I'm like, she needs to be on a break right now. You need anything, talk to me. She needs that break for a period of time. And it's allowed.
You're an amazing second daughter. You are really wonderful, honestly. That's really wonderful. Let's quickly move to the other part where it says educational and career opportunities.
Yeah, very important.
And, you know, I think last week Benny was talking about how sometimes it's like the first daughters have to step back. Parents will be like, oh, let your siblings go to school now. Right. You go to the market and try to all of that.
I know, right?
It's a lot.
A whole lot.
Because they deserve that as well. Yeah, they deserve to go to school. They deserve 100%. To pursue their career opportunities. They deserve all of that education that you're giving the rest of the children. I understand that sometimes, you know, some families, like, they have to pick and choose who to do this and who to do that. And then I don't want to bring gender roles into it, but most times it's usually, let your brother go to school. Now you eventually marry and all of that. That thing genuinely pisses me off. But that's not the conversation for today.
That's right.
That's not the conversation. We'll bring that conversation.
Yes.
But it's not a conversation for today. Now they're grown and, you know, maybe they had missed out on that opportunity. There should be a way, you know, like that they are paired with people who could actually bring them out of their shell and mentor them in a way that they need to be mentored.
Exactly.
You know, like another person who, you know, has grown maybe in this life and understands the struggles of a first daughter, or understands the struggles that this particular person is facing, and you pair this first daughter with this other person. It would be a life-changing experience for that
100%.
person.
Absolutely. Yeah. I very much agree with that.
They need that guardians. They need that mentorship. If not, see, and when someone like that breaks down, someone who has shouldered the responsibility of the entire world, if such a person breaks down, it's usually very disastrous.
Oh, so very disastrous.
It's usually very, very horrible.
So bad. And it takes so much to bring them out of that rabbit hole. It really takes so much to bring them away from that. And away from that, you know, away from mentorship program, they could also be helped to get scholarship and grants. Now we're talking about, I'm even specifically talking about the older ones. I've heard of cases of, you know, older first daughters who are in their, like, say, late 30s, 40s. I've even heard of 50s. It's not like they're adult schooling these days. There's adult education these days. I really wish it's something that we can have in the society where, you know, you have that example
for an older person to go to school,
especially a first daughter who has had to, you know, put herself, you know, especially you hear stories in the backseat for other people to go. You hear stories of, you know, first daughters who, you know, had to step up to the parental role. The father and the mother, unfortunately, are deceased, and then they had to do that. I wish we'd have something like this in the society where, for people like that, okay, if you've raised your sibling to a certain point, they can fend for themselves. You are allowed to go back. No shame.
Yeah.
You're allowed to go back. Scholarship, and even for the ones that are still young, you see, there are also like there's the other side of the spectrum where you have like say early 20s, late 20s, right? And then they had to miss out on secondary school or university, right, to put their siblings first. There should be scholarships and grants for people like for them to be able to go back so that they will not resort into something else. And there's something else I'm talking about.
Exactly. That's it. And even when they now pick a chosen career, maybe it's not necessarily from an educational background. It could be hand skill, hand job or something. It could be that they are so good at this thing and they can apply for grants and they would actually get it.
Yes.
That's something that like an awareness should be created. I don't know how, but like I'm really glad that we're talking about things like that. They get invited to networking events. You create a particular program for particularly first other daughters can come, but particularly first daughters, where they're able to network, meet professional people in their field, people in a different field, even if they're not in even any career field, but they're able to go for this event and meet people, and then it sparks an interest of them.
And it's very specifically for them. I love the fact that sometimes when we talk about I don't like generalization. I'm a kind of person that
I want to hit the nail on the head for me. Hit the nail on the head for me.
This context is for first daughters. Let's not mix it. It's like when we talk about permit me to slightly dive into this area. When we talk about like sexual abuse, especially around women, I'm not saying that men don't go through it as well, but the focus of the conversation
is women in this. Do you know? That's really a conversation. That is different. Yeah. But I don't like it when we say women are going through this, women are going through this, women are going through this. Hey, men go through it too.
I know.
It's some men.
Well,
I'm like, go and sit down somewhere.
That's true.
I'm not talking about that right now. This is what I'm having this conversation. This is the focus for now. So you either converse or talk about this particular thing, or you keep quiet. That's it.
Sure.
Let's get back to the music, and we'll be right back. This is Soul Sisters on Flow FM 92.7. Do not go anywhere.
This is Soul Sisters. Soul Sisters. Flow FM 92.7.
Araba Radio.
By Kelly Clarkson. I love the song. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That as young as I am, that song has really, really helped me a lot in a lot of ways. Like it's like my really go-to, and that's actually just the truth. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. You survive this particular pain. You feel like it's not going to end, but then at some point you feel yourself coming out of that. Okay, I'm stronger.
And that's the truth. Like it's just in that statement. What doesn't kill you genuinely makes you stronger. You just like I actually survived this.
Yeah. So whatever comes my way, I can weather this.
Do you understand? And I can say that for myself, because there are times I'm like, especially when there was this time I was in university, I was like, there's no way I'm coming out of this.
300 level specifically. I was gonna drop out, honey.
Bro,
I was gonna drop out. I thought I was done with school. I could not just get a hang of my courses, and I was just done and dusted. Like I can't do it anymore.
I'm just done.
I struggled. Like I went past that phase. I got into 400 level, aced all the courses. It was just 300 level that had a chokehold on me. You wanted to choke me.
And that's really true. Once you get to 300 level, I think that's the hardest level in university.
Kind of.
300 level is
final year was just a walk in the park.
Apart from like the project thing in 400 levels, literally a walk in the park.
Yeah,
but you see that 300 level, it's like they have you in. See, that's not. I don't want to go back down that memory lane. I'm done with that. Done, understood. Please, thanks and God bless. All right, welcome back to the Soul Sisters on Flow FM 92.7. We're talking about first daughters, and before we went on the break, we talked about educational and career opportunities for first daughters and emotional support. Now we're going into family and community support. So talk to me.
One basic, I love where we're starting from with this one is parenting workshop. Parenting workshop. I remember mentioning last week as well that a lot of conversations, when we talk about family conversations, because it's also relating to family, we talk about gender roles in homes, we talk about the roles of first daughters, pressures of a lot of things. It starts with two people who looked at each other or met each other, whether it's the Indian film kind of way, you eat me, I eat you, and then there's a breeze blowing and none of that.
Or this traditional way, she was walking and she dropped her book.
And then I helped to pick it up
and all
that. Exactly. It starts from two people who decide to start a family together. Yeah. And these are conversations that need to be had.
Most definitely.
Conversations that need to be had. Now, parenting workshops are very, very important when we talk about family and community support for first daughters, to be able to help parents to see how a lot of them, it's something if I find I would enroll my mother for, because sometimes she still kind of like she listens to me. That's one thing I love about my mother. She really listens. She might not get it immediately because I mean she's lived her years with a lot of this mindset, but she actually listens. Now these are things that are very, very important for us to do for parents. Now if you are a young parent, before you start giving birth to children, these are conversations that you need to have, and if there are workshops to let them know these are ways you need to raise your child. Now if you have a child as a first daughter, this is society expectation of your first daughter. You don't want to raise your child like this. Let parents can be taught. Parenting is also a form of school. They can be taught. Yes, they can teach each other, but it's not bad if they are able to see about some things externally. Right? You might not see things in a particular perspective, and someone else is bringing your attention to it. And it's also very important for parents who have children as well, older parents and all, like you already have your children, even if they are teenagers or they are grown-ups as well. You can also be helped like to see how can you unpack trauma of the way you've raised them.
Even now that they're older,
how can you do better for them? Yes, you've made a lot of mistakes, or there are things you were not able to see because of the way you were raised. It's understandable, but how can you do better for them? So parenting workshops are very important.
You know something I realized? I feel like a lot of our parents, they trained the children, us, the way that they know how to. So I can't necessarily blame them. They just know. But what now makes me happy is when you genuinely are like, okay, I'm doing this thing the way that I know how or how I've been taught how to do it. Now we're in a new space, we're in a new generation, so let me learn more. It's like sometimes some parents, I'm not gonna say all, some of our parents are kind of closed off. It's like you can't teach me
anything,
but
that's
it's
what
like,
I knew for years.
Yeah, that's what I knew for years, and I'm gonna stick to it. I get it, definitely. It got us this far, to be honest, but a lot of us had to retrain ourselves. A lot of us had to come out of that shell. I always say it, 99% of people in the entire world need therapy. You need you need to unpack a lot of trauma,
a lot of things.
Do you understand? So some people have done that work on themselves, like as children. We've done that work of, okay, we've been raised this way, we appreciate the raising up, and then we are here now, and so we want to retrain ourselves. Do you understand? So I feel like that's that thought or the ideology of this is how I'm, so it's just dogmatic. It's like
doesn't work that way.
If there were actual parental workshops, I feel like it would take a while for people to kind of get used to it, or try to I don't know what English to use right now, or eventually accept it or acclimatize to it. Generally take a lot of, this is actually good for you. You're like, no, they call me all of that. That's how it's gonna be. That's the first response you're gonna get. Do you understand? But it's not supposed to be that way, to be honest.
But continuously it takes one and another and another and another. And one beautiful
thing,
to
start. You just need to start.
Do you know what's funny? I realized recently, one beautiful thing about African parents is the fact that when you teach them something, obviously, just like you said, they have a wall built up already. First time you say second time you say one way or the other, your thought ice is getting thought little by little. Yeah. So
I like when you said that, like your mom listens. For me, like my dad, like daddy would I don't want to go on a spiel about my father, because you'll be
we could spend the whole day, honey.
It'll be like, I'm just praising this man, but I know what I felt like when I was growing up and how I feel right now, even as a grown up. When I talk to my father, when I hear him talk, or when I even talk to him, like there's no battle, there's no I'm doing
like
this.
You can literally sit down as adults and have conversations.
My dad and I talk like we're friends.
Yeah, that's good.
We talk like I'm his baby girl.
Do you understand?
That's how genuinely, like,
times
are changing. Do you understand?
Yes,
you need to be able to see things from my point of view and from it. Another thing as well is for siblings. Do you understand? I love when you said you help your sister in that way. Hello, mommy. Don't call big sis right now. Call me.
Needs time.
Hello, my younger sister. Don't call our elder sister right now. Call me. She needs time. I need her to take this time for herself. Nobody should call her. Nobody should ask her for anything. Talk to me right now. That actually helps.
It really helps.
It reduces that stress. We're talking about the burden and the expectations. It reduces it. Even if we know that she has the responsibilities. Do you understand? But for that period, for that time, take it off. There was this thing I saw on TikTok the other day. A pregnant woman, right? She's carrying, like, she's like heavily pregnant. There's this thing that husbands do, that they'll stand behind the woman and then they kind of like raise the stomach up and help her rest on it.
What?
That's what comes to my head.
Hold up. Is there telepathy? Is this telepathy right now? Because that's literally that's the imagery in my head.
Ooh, that's my girl.
That's the imagery
that's why you're
in my
part
head.
Of the sister circle.
That's the imagery in my head right now.
Here.
It's so good. It's so good.
That's like a representation. That's like I'm trying to show you make you kind of like visualize what we're trying to talk about. Just the responsibility is on her already.
Yes.
Just like the pregnant one,
But
she
just
has to
lift
carry.
it.
She
She has to carry the baby.
Yeah. There's no way.
But those once in a while where you
Once
give her
in a
food
while.
rubs, you carry the belly up
You
for
carry
her.
the belly
yeah,
up, and
yeah.
for those 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20,
They-
1
they-
hour.
Oh my god.
It's not on them.
Yeah, yeah.
They have to eventually go back to it, but for that space,
It
let them
eases it off.
It
really
eases it
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
So
and- yeah.
siblings can help, parents can
Parents
help.
can help. And just before we go back to the music, community resources as well. When we think of, sometimes you see maybe even religious organizations, churches and their mosques, put all of these things together about how the therapy conversations, counseling. But you never, I would love to see counseling and therapy much more specific. You hear couples counseling and therapy, right? You hear maybe for singles. What about some specific parts of the household, right? What about therapy for first daughters, for first child, like first children
Yeah.
rather? What about therapies that are more
Therapy
specific
for
much
those
more
people,
specifically
yeah.
tailored like that? I would love to see things like
Things
that
like
for them. The family is very large.
It's large.
It's very large, and then there are different intricate parts of the family. There's the father, there's the mother. There are the children as well, and there are also roles, right? As much as just an aside, right? Just an aside I would love to see therapy for even middle children. We
Yes,
have a
yes.
tendency of being the glue that holds the families together. That's a conversation for another day. Middle children, and then you have to cater to being a younger sister to an elder sister. You also have a younger one behind
Yeah.
you, and then that's another one.
That's another
What about
conversation.
What about younger siblings as well? Just as an example, what about younger siblings as well? I've had conversation with younger siblings who feel like maybe because they were not planned for, they kind of like experience parental neglect.
Yeah.
And they have to deal with that, and then the mindset, it messes them up. So I'm just trying to say that I would love to see much more tailored therapy and
Therapeutic,
counseling
yeah.
sessions. And
For
one of
people,
it
yeah.
is let's have for first daughters, they need it.
Yeah.
Let them come and talk. Sometimes it's nice to talk to strangers about some of these things. Family might not really understand. Parents might not be there for you and none of that. Even their partners might not really understand. Let them strip away all of this, right? Let a stranger that does not know them hear them talk and pour everything out. Very important.
Yeah.
Very, very
It gives
important.
space for
Family
that.
and community
It
support.
gives space for that, most definitely. Let's get back to the music. We'll be right back. This is Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder.
This is Soul Sisters. Soul Sisters. Flow FM 92.7.
Legendary Stevie Wonder.
Yes, she's lovely.
100%. She's definitely lovely. What you're still tuned in to Flow FM 92.7. You go with the Flow station. This is the Flow Weekend Wave, and away from that, Daniel and I are talking about support of first daughters and soul sisters this afternoon. Thank you so much for listening. Well, we might not be getting feedbacks, but we know you're definitely listening to us right now, and we hope you're taking.
It's more of a we're talking.
You're talking,
to,
yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't drop your 2 cents if you do have any, of
100%,
course. But for right
100%.
now, we're actually talking.
Yes. And please, we're not just talking about it. We actually want this to be
action,
effective. Yeah,
please.
that's the best part about it. So another way that the society can come together to help force daughters is via social and cultural shift. This one is a whole conversation, honey. And then let me start with we or the world, society generally, challenging traditional roles. Now, encouraging first daughters to pursue non-traditional careers and interests. Let's start from that. There is this typical, you're a first daughter, right? And then immediately, I love that, right? It's beautiful. But there's this immediate maternal instincts that are, instilled into you. Just like you said, you just one way or the other. Before you know it, even as a teenager, the first daughter becomes the second mom.
That's it. Immediately,
right? And it's nice to see. And then it feels like at some point in your life, you see young girls who are first daughters being groomed for marriage, right? That's the way. It feels like you are raising them to be either the mother figure or the wife. And it's more than that. Like, we need to challenge all this kind of traditional roles. Explore the interest of your daughter. What does she want to be? I mean, look at the Williamses, Serena and Venus. When I saw what was the title of their biopic, King Richard, when I saw their father, the way he raised those women, the way he raised those girls, you would have thought for somebody who had 2 girls, right? There was another way, there was another aspect of seeing how that he wanted them to do something. In fact, it was like he planned, like, I think when I saw the stuff, he planned. He said Venus would be sought after, but he said Serena would be the greatest of all time. Now they are now. It's beautiful, but the advantage of that, it worked out that way for them because he saw that both the girls were actually interested in tennis themselves, right? So why not we should explore the interest, of first girls or first daughters. What is she interested in? I know you want to raise her to be a mother, you want to raise her to be a daughter. What other things does she want to explore? What are our interests?
Avenue for that.
Give the avenue for
it's
that.
Like
get to know her.
Constantly forcing
Don't force things down
those traditional rules down.
Yes. We need to challenge it. Right? We need to start challenging it. We need to start challenging it.
It needs to happen. It genuinely needs to happen, and it's so sad because when you force things down people's throat that way, they start to believe that that's what they are made or created for.
Yeah, and they can't see themselves away from that. You are boxing them.
You hear situations. I probably saw this in a movie or something. Like those traditional rules were forced down her neck, and then she just knew that whenever she saw people dancing ballet, like she just was intrigued by it, like dancers and stuff. But that thought of that's frivolity. Why are you dancing up and down when there's clothes to wash, when there's food to cook, when there's younger siblings to take care of? Do you understand? And then she was just sucked into that motherly role and everything, and then she knew there was a part of her heart that was like yearning. I can do all these things. Like I want to do it. Eventually, she didn't get to live out her dreams, and then there would always be resentment at the end of the day. There would always be because that's what it portrayed.
Resentment and regrets and bitterness.
She was not able to live out her dream and everything like that. It's very sad to see, to be honest. So that like allow that space for them to see what their heart yearns for, even as a young child. Like I remember growing up, right? My dad would always tell me now that every time like he just saw me, he always saw that I'll put like pillows together and start talking to them. Like he just saw that every time Bola is back from school, if I'm coming back home or something, but I'm just always in my room with like pillows and teddies and everything, and I'm talking. I'll sit down on the other side and I'm talking, and from there he knew that. Oh, okay, this one's gonna be a talker. This is gonna be a talker. And then he always said that to me. He was like, you're that's it. And then from there, like I wasn't in that shell. Yes, I know I have a responsibility as a first daughter, but it's never felt like I'm the entirety of it is upon me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, right? If he hits you in a way you don't like, I apologize in advance. But if you're not ready to be a parent, don't be one.
Not at all.
If you're not ready to be completely, and when I mean completely, I mean 1001. I'm not even saying 100 right now.
Yeah.
1001% ready to be an absolute parent to your first child, to your second child, to your third child.
Whatever number you want to have.
Whatever number of children you want to have. If you're not ready, please don't have one. Why?
Don't do it. Why?
It's like, no, let's just marry and give birth to children. Why? If you're not genuinely ready, if you cannot...
For the work, for the processes,
I'm begging.
Please.
And if you're in it already, strive. Like, it's
be better.
Be better. Like, do better. You might have made that mistake already. Strive for ways to actually correct those mistakes.
Yes.
Do things for you to be able to right that wrong.
Yeah. Preach it, sis.
That's it,
Preach
basically.
It.
Another thing is celebrating English.
Breathe.
English. Celebrating individuality, right? Yeah. Recognizing and valuing unique strengths and talents. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's just off of the back of what we just spoke about.
Yes.
Do you understand how, like, when you see that they have that talent or they have that particular strength where they are soaring, even in school, the teacher can come and tell you, oh, this your child, she's very good in this photo, or she can sing, like you now. She can sing, or she's so good in the drama club, or she's so good in literary and debating society. Like, I feel like that one is cool. She come back and go for sure. Not that those things she's not supposed to do. Just, please don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
It's not as if she's not supposed to do, but don't invalidate the fact that she's good at this other thing.
And there are other interests that she has.
Other interests. It can go pari passu.
That's right.
Do you understand? She can be the first daughter and be her own self as well.
100%.
And they can go pari passu.
Very well. And that would lead me to, promoting gender equality. We need to, this is the 21st century. This is 2024. Domestication is not just for women alone. It's not just for the girl gender. It's a life skill. Domesticate your men, domesticate your male child, domesticate your female child. Both of them need to survive.
One of the things that can turn me off immediately when I meet somebody new, and we're having conversation, you tell me, I can only boil water, Walk away. Walk
next
away. Next. Do you understand?
On to the next.
On to the next. What do
Yes.
you mean you can only? But how are you living then?
Do you get?
It means you don't have life skill. It means
Exactly.
you don't have self-preservation. How are you then surviving? So it means somebody else is taking care of it. So when you now leave, when that situation has to end, and then you eventually get with me, all of that will follow me. No, I have that life skill because I want to survive.
Exactly.
You need to have that life skill because you want to survive.
Very, very much. And something just popped up to my head right now. You know, I'm not from that tribe, but I have friends that are Adas, like, you know, first daughters of, you know, the Igbo tribe and all that.
Yeah.
And I love how that when it's time for them to get married, there's so much on the table. She's the first daughter. There's so much. The bride price is off the roof and all. Let's not wait up until that time to celebrate them. It's not when they're about to get married. From the start, you are putting so much effort into our wedding, because you know this person much more than I didn't raise somebody that just domesticated. I raised a PhD holder. I raised this one. There's so much to it. There's a pride that comes to it. You're not just. It's not just because that she's the first daughter and then you're putting so much. You know, no.
She has the skill.
You are giving
she's
out treasure. Just achieve this, right?
She's this. She's
That's
that.
right.
She's a this. She's a. Do you understand? There's so much achievement that she can garner even before she gets married, for you to be able to celebrate even before that time. Now let's move to media representation real quick before we have to round up on Soul Sisters. You know, having positive role models, you know, showcasing relatable, inspiring stories of first daughters in the media. To be honest, like we could bring up so many people who, you know, have thrived as first daughters and have come out of it, and they are they're incredible people to look up to. They're people who you can actually look at and be like, okay, this person inspires me.
Yeah, this person inspires me.
There are a lot of examples.
Lots of examples.
You just need to, you can do the research, most definitely. There are people that you would see that their life story, right? They can speak. It speaks to you because you're also in that same position.
In that same situation, and you can lend your voice, just like Danielle is doing right now. It's just so beautiful that she's also in the media space. You can speak your truth. You can speak your struggles as a first daughter. You can lend your voice to it. Do content about it. If you're in the media space, talk about it. Social media has really helped these days. You can do that, but just make sure that while you are doing that, you are realistically portraying these things. You're not being fake about it. You're not adding to the pressure. You're not adding to the expectations.
Be very realistic.
Know what you're talking about before you come out, before you pick a microphone. I'm not before we see podcast up and down. Now
be very podcast that we don't know the head and the tail.
We don't know the head and the tail. Okay,
please go and sleep.
Yeah. If you don't have the right information, please do not be a part of it. Don't make this the narrative worse. We're trying to make it better. Don't add to it. It's very, very important. Lend your voice to it. Okay,
avoid
have examples.
Unrealistic expectations.
If it's something you feel like, if you want to be a channel for, you want to put you want to organize things together for people. It's good. These are things that we need in our society. It's very, very
for
important.
People to share their experiences
experiences.
Have that you're able to talk about your own point of view of being a first daughter from the Igbo tribe, another first daughter from the Yoruba tribe, another first daughter from the Hausa tribe.
From
different lenses, what it means to be a first daughter in your own family, what it means to be a first daughter in your own community,
in your culture,
your culture. You see different people talking about different things and what they're seeing and it's realistic. People that are also experiencing it can hear you and can relate to what you're saying. I would absolutely 100% love to see that. I would love to see that. I want to go back to the situation where we're talking about gender equality and having that the same, like the biases and stereotypes about equal opportunities for both. I know it's a conversation for a different deal. I know, but just to say something extra, there's that resentment that when you're a first daughter and then you're relegated to doing these things, to doing some of these traditional roles that we're talking about, and then let's say they call Ada, and then they call, I don't know what they call the guy.
I don't know
what they call the guy, but then the first guy of the family, and he's also the first. There's also a lot on him. Do you understand? I'm not saying that there's not a lot on him. But it's almost like, the lot that is on him is about going to school and making money and making the family proud. Why can't the lady do that?
Do the same as well. Girl, you were threading certain waters right now.
Do you understand? That's what that you just popped in my head. I'm like, why is the expectations? They are both Ada. I don't know the Ada of the guy, but they are both first.
Yes.
And it's like the expectation from the woman is different from the expectation from the man. Why?
Why can't she be taught to, put her hands to work?
And why can't the man also be on this side as well?
If she's raised to be domesticated, be a mother, he should be raised to be domesticated as well. You can be. Do you understand? If he's raised to be, a provider, to get things done, get education, be good in society, be notable in society, she can also be raised to be notable in society.
It could be 100. Like, why does he have to be?
One doesn't have to,
it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that, because at the end of the day, you raise children that will now come to society, and then the men don't know how to, have those life skills that we're talking about. And then the women feel so relegated, and then there's that desire, that hunger to want more out of life.
That spark.
That wants that, I'm pursuing this career.
I know we need to wrap it up right now, but it just kind of like connected to what you were talking about on Cupid's Connect. She found that spark at that age of her life.
She found the spark.
But because, that's what we're talking about. Just because she feel the way, gender roles for women and all of that, she's supposed to suppress it.
She has to suppress it and go and take care of Gauss disease. Come on,
please.
We're not going to dive into that anymore. But yeah, I do hope that if you're a first daughter out there and you're listening to us right now,
this last 2 Saturdays has been about you.
It's been about you.
We love you.
We love you. Absolutely, 100%.
So much.
We need you to believe that.
Yeah, so much appraisal for you. You are doing so well. We're proud of you. You were such a stakeholder. You're strong. You're amazing. What you carry, what you do for the society, the role you play in your family. Nobody can do what you do. You are unique. You're incredible. You're amazing. This is a shout out to you, the one that is very, very much alive in front of me right now, Danielle. This is to my elder sister.
I have tears in my eyes right now. Like, I'm hearing you and I'm like, oh my God.
This is to my elder sister as well. And this is to every first daughter listening to me right there. We support you. We stand with you. And I really hope that the world is kinder to you. The society is kinder to you. And there are better narratives about your life.
Yes. Amen.
Amen to that, sister.
Amen to that. Okay. Amen to that. That was really, really wonderful, Gladys. I really feel and I can relate to every first daughter out there. And we see you.
Yeah.
We hear you.
Yeah.
And we love you.
That's right. 100%.
Okay. We love you 100%. Thank you so much. And if you've been listening, we do hope that these things have digested inside of you. And if there's something you're
change you one way or the other.
And for all the other people listening, like, support people in your life that are in that situation as well. Right. Okay. So we rise by lifting others.
Yes,
that's how they say it. Oh, one says now. Rise by lifting others.
I know what you're trying to do there.
Yeah.
Well, we have to go now. Soul Sisters again next week Saturday on Flow FM 90.7. You'll go with the Flow Station 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Don't you go anywhere. Well, your favorite is still here, so let's get back to the music.
I'm still here until 8 p.m. and we're gonna have an amazing time. We've been having an amazing time. We're going to continue to have an amazing time. This is Shaka Khan with I'm every woman.
It's only me.
Soul Sisters. Soul Sisters. Flow FM 92.7.
Araba.